but not everybody has the same ability as Maxx. Not everybody is as talented as him. Maxx has proven that over a long time, and so we need more players that that can play to that close to that kind of level, and we'll be more productive, and we'll make more things happen, and we'll be harder to deal with. The fact that our top players play great football is because they're our top players, and they jump out and stand out on our team, and those guys are really good. And the fact that I thought the same as you're asking, that they stand out because they continue to play at a really high level. Well, that's what we're trying to get, more guys that can do that, play along with them.
Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talked about team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. Well, I played that little clip of the press conference with Pete Carroll today, or yesterday, actually, when you're watching this. And I wanted to play that little clip because that was the most real, I think, Pete Carroll has been. That's the most candid and honestly, the most straightforward that Pete Carroll has been. No fluff, no hidden meanings, nothing. Basically, he's saying we need more talented players. Plain and simple. Maxx Crosby is who he is because he plays at a high level consistently, because he's talented and he performs at that level. Brock Bowers is who he is as a player because he plays at that level consistently and he makes plays consistently at a high level. He said it. We just need more players to play at or close to that level. He doesn't have the players on the team to do it. And I understand that we want to sit here and make wholesale changes and fire this guy, fire that guy, fire this guy. Look, we're going to get to all that because honestly, look, I'm not married to Pete Carroll sticking around. I would like for him to stick around because I understand how things work, but I also understand people are going to be emotional and want to get rid of Pete and move on and this and that. Look, it's not about Pete Carroll. It could be anyone who we have in the position right now who can run a team and run a practice and, run a game. That's my big thing against AP. I would have loved for AP to stick around. He just was not getting better managing a game. We were losing games because of how he managed games last season. We're not losing games because of how Pete is managing games in game. He may be doing some stuff behind the scenes, but not in the game. We saw exactly what AP was doing. So the issue that I'm having here is it's always, well, this guy is just really bad. We have to move on. Josh McDaniels is so bad. We have to move on from him. We have to get, okay. AP is so bad. We have to move on from him. We can't have him. Okay. Pete Carroll is so bad. Newsflash. Okay. And look, I love the Raiders. Okay. I am a proud member of Raider Nation. I wear my Raider Nation proudly out in public. I don't care if people say, oh, Raiders are this, Raiders. I don't care. I rep the Raiders hard. And I'm saying this with all honesty and all respect and all love for the Raiders. We are a bad franchise and a bad roster. This team is not close to winning. We're not. Because all I hear is, well, look at the Bears and look at the Patriots and look at the Jags and look at this, you look at that team. We're worse off roster-wise than those teams were when they were bad. We're a year or two away from being a year or two away. You know what I'm saying? Because look, you had the Bears. The Bears had Nagy. He was there for a little bit. They got bad after the whole Mitch Trubisky thing. And then they got a room for Eberflus. They went through the whole Justin Fields thing, and he weathered that, okay? And then when he didn't get a lot out of Caleb Williams last season, he got fired. So they went through the building years when they were building the team for Justin Fields. Then they just got Caleb Williams and changed Justin Fields for Caleb Williams. But they were still building the team under the same coach, who's Eberflus. He's gone. They got Ben Johnson in. The quarterback was already there. The team that we're building was already there. And they were able to take off this year. With Jacksonville, they were a playoff team. They're the team that came back against the Chargers a few years ago. But look, rock bottom for them was Urban Meyer. Okay? Urban Meyer was rock bottom for them. Then they got Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson comes in, steadies the waters a little bit, up and down, but they were building the roster as he was going along. Maybe they weren't winning consistently, but they were building the roster with younger players and building that roster. Peterson's gone, but the quarterback was already there. They were already building the roster with young players and weathering that storm with Doug Peterson, who wasn't the long-term answer. They got Liam Cohen in because he wanted to go there because he had the quarterback, and look what they're doing now. The rock bottom for the Patriots was actually the end of the Bill Belichick era. Last season, they got a bunch of young players. They played their young players under Gerard Mayo. They got their quarterback, and then they got Vrabel to come in with the quarterback that they had and building roster. They spent some money in free agency, and now they're taking off. We're trying to skip steps here and say the next guy that we get is going to be the winner. No. The next coach that we get is going to be the lame duck coach that's going to have to weather the storm and build this roster for the next coach to come in. So why get rid of the coach that we already have if the next coach is going to be a lame duck coach anyway? Why not start the steady roster building now as opposed to get another coach in and get other players to play his type of game and his type of system and a different message for the GM of what type of players he wants? That's what I mean when I say getting rid of people, because we're not the next coach away from being a good team. We're probably 2 coaches away. So if we're that far away, why not just keep Pete Carroll and start building with the young players? He already showed you he can't win right now with this roster. So him trying to snow you over again and say, I can win with these guys, I just need a couple of pieces here and there and get a bunch of one-year free agents. We don't have to do that anymore. Go young. Undrafted free agents, young guys from the draft, play young guys, do all that. That's what we got to do. That's where I'm at right now, because I know the next coach to come in, if we let go of Pete Carroll, the next coach who comes in next season is not going to be successful. He's not. And I don't have the confidence and I don't have the faith in Raider Nation to stick around with the head coach that we get after this one for more than a season until you want him fired too. We already have Pete. Might as well keep him. At least he can run a game. But look, I understand. But the thing is, it's always, but this guy has to go. Yeah, I understand that we get rid of a lot of coaches, but JMD has to go. Yeah, I understand we got rid of a lot of coaches and we got rid of JMD, but AP has to go. Yeah, I understand we got rid of JMD and AP, but Pete has to go. When are we going to stop this? Out of all those coaches that I just named, Pete Carroll is the best one as far as experience to be able to run a game, clock management, game management, in order to keep run practice as well and keep people engaged and playing hard, because the team is still playing hard, just not talented. That's my issue. That's what I'm talking about right now. And Pete Carroll's telling you in this press conference, in that clip, we're going to hear the whole press conference later, but in that clip, he's telling you, we don't have enough talent on this team. We need more talent. That's what he's saying. And he's right. We need more talent. We need probably 15 new starters, maybe 14, 15 new starters. It's nuts to think about, but that's probably pretty close to being right. It's pretty crazy, man. I'm telling you. I think that a lot of people in Raider Nation don't understand how far gone this team actually is. They think we're a 1 year away. Oh, well, this team did it in 1 year. No. Just because they were bad 1 year and then good the next doesn't mean it only took 1 year for them to get there. It took them quite a few years to build the roster. Because look, the Bears were building the roster for Justin Fields. They were building the line and building the defense and building weapons for Justin Fields. Justin Fields was the problem there. He goes, they put another quarterback in. He has his growing pains as a rookie. And the second year, he's got a better coach coming in. But look, I hear the same thing. Get rid of Pete. We need to get a young play caller, offensive-minded, offensive guru. That's what we need. Well, 2 of those guys were available this last offseason, and they both told us to F off. If you guys know Spanish slang and Spanish slang sign language, Ben Johnson went like this. Okay, Liam Cohen went like that. Robert Saleh went like that. They want nothing to do with the Raiders for a few reasons. Number one, they know the roster's in shambles. Everyone around the league knows that the roster is piss poor. Our offensive line, the guys that started on the offensive line this last game, I don't think any of those starters would start on 30, maybe 1 or 2 teams those guys would start on in the NFL. That's bad. Other than Trey Tucker, who else do we have at receiver? The worst team in the league cut Tyler Lockett. The only team that's worse than us cut Tyler Lockett, and he's one of our starters at wide receiver. We have two guys who we don't know what we have in Besh. We don't know what we have in Thornton. We don't know because we don't really use them. Tight end room is really good. Quarterback is not good. I think our running back is really good. On the defensive side, don't even get me started. I mean, Adam Butler's a solid player, but he's not a standout or anything. The only standout we have on the line on the front seven really is Maxx. On the secondary, who stands out? Nobody. Chin maybe-ish. Nobody else. So that's one reason why, look, these young hotshot coaches know that they need to go to a good position with a good roster and a good quarterback to be able to make any type of waves in the NFL. Ben Johnson, the year before, didn't go anywhere because he knew, you know what, I don't like these opportunities. I'm going to stick here for another season. So now we have another reason why hotshot coaches wouldn't want to come to the Raiders. We don't have a quarterback. Now, we're going to need to hire, if we fire Pete, we're going to need to hire another before the draft. So unless we get the first overall pick, we're not guaranteed to get the quarterback that we want. That's an issue. All the people that I mentioned, all the teams that I mentioned had the young quarterback in place. That's an issue. Third one, if we fire another head coach after one season, that's a big problem because this new young coach coming in, this young hotshot coordinator, offensive coordinator coming in, is going to say, well, you got a team that has a bad roster, doesn't have a quarterback, and the franchise has a reputation of giving up on coaches early. I'm not going to go there because it's going to take some time for me to turn this around. I'm not going to be the Matt Eberflus to someone else's Ben Johnson, and I don't blame him. That is my argument, and I understand. And if you want to change my mind, fine. Or if you want to just be a bonehead and say, that's idiotic, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're this, you're that, and not give me any reasons why. Because guess what? Those same people that were saying Pete has to go now, he's terrible. We're saying AP has to go. We're saying Josh McDaniels has to go. We're saying this guy's got to go and that guy's got to go. For who? Every time we change somebody, you don't like that guy either. I'm telling you, we need to build this roster. We need to get a bunch of young players on this team. Screw what Pete says about your roster. Okay? That's not his control anymore. The GM has to take over this roster and say, these are the players that you're going to play. These are the players you have to play with. Go from here. Pete had more control over this roster because he convinced everyone who was involved, Spytek, Brady, Mark Davis, and the others, that he can win now. He convinced them, I can win now with this team. I have my quarterback. I got some pieces on offense. The offensive line we can fix. The defense we can get humming. Didn't work out. So they're not going to give him that same grace the second time around. They're going to tell him, look, we need to get the young players up and running. You are not the guy to lead us to the promised land. You were the guy to put the roadmap together to lead us to the promised land, but you're not going to be the one that gets us across the finish line. Unfortunately, that's where Pete is right now, and I think he's realizing that. And by him admitting that his team lacks talent and they need to add more talent, I think that's him kind of waving the white flag and saying, yeah, you know what? It's just not going to happen for us. All right, let's actually listen to the entirety of Pete Carroll's presser. Here it is.
What's your message to the team at this point?
I haven't talked to him yet.
Or what will it be?
The message is we're going to look at the stuff that we did well, that we liked and we can build from. We look at the issues that we have to deal with, the balance on offense and running the ball and not being able to get that done. Third downs have been a problem, and show reasons why we keep believing. You know, there's enough sparks in this game and guys making plays and coming through that there's reasons why it was 7-7 halftime. You know, and at halftime we thought we were going to come out and go get that game. You know, we felt great about it and felt comfortable about the opportunity, and everybody was chilled out. And we really the big run really was a backbreaking play. You know, we got them 3rd and 4 or something. They run it. We got guys in position. And we don't get off the field there, and that was a difference maker. But we came right back after that, you know, and got after him pretty good the very next drive on defense and got a couple sacks and all. So there was positives in there that we'll try to build on. That's all we can do at this time, and see if we can't, keep our focus on building on the things that we can do and try to minimize and eliminate the things that we can't do. We get to a game with the crew that calls a lot of penalties. We get, we throw 4 penalties at them, which was a big focus in the game. We got that done. Offense didn't have a penalty. Had the 1 turnover that they get on a crazy play on the sidelines. Excellent job by them. So there's some stuff to work with there, and we just have to keep the negative plays and the aspects from entering in the result of the game, and so we'll see if we can get that done.
Now that you had a chance to check out the film, I know you're not going to change a whole lot offensively in 1 week, but is the game that was called by Greg Olson more similar to what you were looking for?
Yeah, we're moving. We're going to move in a good direction here. It was drinking from the fire hose last week. It was as hard as it could get for those guys to get set up and get rolling. I hope that we'll make some good improvement here. The process during the week was much more like the one that we want. Communication for the players and to the coaches was good, and we'll see if we can't just build on that.
Yesterday at right guard and switched between Moxley and Rodgers a little bit. What went into that decision making, and also what was your evaluation of the offensive line in general from last night?
Yeah, I think I mentioned last night that during the competition of the week, and then finding out that we weren't able to play Jordan, that was all part of the factor. Those guys kind of balanced it out during the week, and so we let them fight for their job. And so it's a good battle going on. We'll continue that this week. What was the other part of it?
Just in terms of the offensive line in general with Greg Olson, what are some things that you would say you like?
We're getting hit way too much, and Geno threw a pretty good game, but as far as the throwing part of it, but we're getting hit too much, and we're having trouble keeping people from getting in the backfield, particularly in the drop back game. And so we have to shore that up. We did some things to help us in protection, but it didn't help us enough. So we just got to get better.
It looks like Trey Tucker last couple of weeks able to beat the defense down the field, but one reason or another not able to get him the ball. What do you think of Trey's play lately, and what could you do to?
He's doing everything he can. And a week ago, he found some spots where we really had chances that we missed out on. We didn't get a chance to get to him in this one yesterday, but he's doing fine.
You did a Mayor and Meredith?
No. I do not to help you for this week coming up. They're still, it's day to day with those guys.
Is there a chance that either Rodgers or Mafi could earn in practice this week the 100% of the snaps instead of a rotation? Or?
I don't know about that. We'll find out. I like that they both got chances to work, and they both did some good things. They held up. So I don't need to call that yet. We'll see what happens.
Go like 1, 2, 3, coming in hot.
How much does it mean you can see Maxx continue to play at the level that he has over the last couple of weeks, and how is that a message sent to the rest of the defense on how to play as well?
Yeah, Maxx is a phenomenal player. He's a phenomenal player. I mean, his consistency, the sacks he gets, the tackles for losses, he's playing as good as anybody can play. And that's not a surprise. You guys have been around a long time watching him. He continues to play at an extremely high level and produce and lead and send the right message and stand for what it takes to play great football. And it's obvious that he is so consistent. He's just that darn good. So thrilled about that. And does it elevate other guys? Yeah. Malcolm's coming along. Malcolm's had a couple sacks last couple of weeks and getting back into it and helping us be productive. Maxx has a tremendous impact on this team and continues to.
I mean, not just the defense overall too, especially young players like Ashton aren't used to this. How valuable is that Maxx in that situation?
Well, you're talking about Max's.
Just his leadership.
Yeah, it's enormous to see a great player play great. And it's more than it's one thing about reputation and all that, but he doesn't live on that. He lives on what he does with the very next play he gets, and does everything he can to get the most out of it. And that's the messaging that we try to send through all of our players. And he's a great illustration of what we're talking about. But not everybody has the same ability as Maxx. Not everybody is as talented as him. Maxx has proven that over a long time, and so we need more players that that can play to that close to that kind of level, and we'll be more productive, and we'll make more things happen, and we'll be harder to deal with.
What have you seen from the cornerback rotation between Caillou and Darian, and Caillou comes up with another interception?
Yeah, well, Caillou's got a real knack for getting the football now. He's got great hands. He has great timing and confidence in making plays. And that was a fantastic play. But he and Chin made passing it off down on the goal line down there to turn that drive away. But Darian played really well also. And so those guys are doing okay. Early in the year, Kai got, they got after him a little bit. They got some shots at him, and so he just had to bounce back from that and play his way through it, which he's done. So we rotate those guys too because they both deserve to play.
How big was that communication between Chin and Caillou to be able to pass them off on?
That was excellent football right there. Because they tried to rub it off, and those guys both felt it coming and played off it just exactly like you'd hope. If they'd have thrown it to Jeremy's guy, he'd have made a play. And so. Fortunately, it's not just the chance you're in the right position, but you can convert the play and make it a turnover that was huge. So I thought the next drive that we had on defense was really stellar because the crazy interception that they get on the tip ball, and our guys came right back and stopped them on fourth down, and just showed how the mentality of this group it's worth fighting for. It's worth fighting to put them in winning situations so they can make the plays, and so it's a good group.
I know it's kind of late in the season, but you talked about missed tackling kind of being an issue throughout the season and also it kind of being an issue last night. How do you continue to try to improve that even this far in the season?
Yeah, we work on it really hard with a lot of emphasis. We make a big deal about it. We have a whole style, you know about that, of how we do it. And we just have to come through and finish technique strong and do it right, and take advantage of all of the work. So it's kind of been spread out. A number of guys been on the perimeter a lot, when we don't make the plays right off the bat. And so now guys get into more vulnerable positions, but we have ways to teach that. We teach it and we drill the heck out of it. So we just got to do it better.
When you talk about what Max, brings to the defense, everything he's doing, in many ways, look at Brock as the equivalent on the other side of the ball.
There's no doubt. I mean, the fact that our top players play great football is because they're our top players and they jump out and stand out on our team. And Brock had huge drive and big play, and the other touchdown play, the perfect execution. But if you really look at the route he ran on his first touchdown pass, he set it up beautifully and was wide open in the back line for Geno. So yeah. Those guys are really good, and the fact that I thought the same as you're asking, that they stand out because they continue to play at a really high level. Well, that's what we're trying to get more guys that can do that, play along with them.
There's the entire interview for some more context on why Pete Carroll said what he did. And honestly, there's not a lot to really add to that. They're just looking for more players who can play at a high level. Because it's not for lack of effort. And that's the thing you got to look at with a team like this. When a team is playing hard and they just can't seem to get right, the team just isn't that good. They're just not that good. We just have to get better people. We have to get, more talented people. Like, coaching is not overrated. Coaching does matter. But what also matters is who you're coaching. You can put the best coaches, the best coaching staff on those 0-16 Browns and 0-16 Lions teams. They're not going to the playoffs. They just didn't have the talent. And that's where we are. We're not quite that bad, but we're pretty bad. And we need to get more talent on this team. And look, the video I made yesterday about building around a couple of players that we have, I was using it for effect because I only wanted to use 3 players because just kind of a shock value. What I mean is, it's not going to be worth it to us to get a lot of high-priced free agents next season unless we draft a quarterback early in the draft and we need to fortify the offensive line quickly. That's when you spend money on the offensive line. Other than that, I wouldn't mind trading back. If we can trade back twice in the first round and get more picks and build this team up until we can find our quarterback. The problem that we're going to have is we're going to continue to try to put Band-Aids because the new coach that comes in, if we get a new coach next season, he's going to want to win. He's not going to want to be a lame duck coach. He's not going to want to be a bridge coach. He's not going to want to be a Matt Eberflus, a Coach Eberflus like the Bears had to kind of be that middle guy so you get the other guy. That's not what they're going to want. So that's why I say to really caution against it. I understand you don't like the way Pete's running the business. He wasn't on board with playing young guys right away. He was on board with trying to win right here and now. He's telling you right now, we don't have the talent. We need more talent. So we have to build it. But the thing is, Pete is not going to be around long enough to get the fruit of that labor. But what he can do is help bring along the young guys that we have now. That's going to be his job. Whether he wants to take it, that's going to be up to him. If he doesn't want to take it, then he can move on and we can get someone else. And this whole argument is moot. But for right now, that's my argument. I really want to hear what you guys have to say because I'm really interested in what you guys want to say about this. Please give me a more detailed explanation and please be realistic. We're not winning next year. Okay, that's not going to happen. We have way too many holes on this roster. We're not one of these teams that we're underperforming and one or two players puts us over the top. Our players are playing hard. We're just not that good. Also, we're not going to get a top coordinator, especially a top offensive mind coordinator. We don't have the talent. We don't have a quarterback, and we don't have a reputation of being patient with our head coaches. So that's going to be gone. It's going to take a while, guys. All of our bad decisions over the last 20 some odd years are gotten us to this point. It's going to take us a conceited, concentrated effort to get us out. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's the Next Way to Support the channel. It's absolutely free. On top of that, we have the Shield Society. It's a membership. It's $5 a month. You get some freebies. You get some perks. If you want to do it and can do it, great. I would love to have you. If not, or you don't want to, that's fine too. I'm still giving you a video every single day. All I ask in return is that you tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody Raiders versus the world is the greatest thing going to Raider Nation today. All right, guys, that's my time. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.